in shape, 145 in shape. You know what I mean? So this is different from a Crawford coming up to 168, but we know his walk around weight is probably 170, 180.
Tank Davis' only shortcoming, pun intended, is his height. He's 5'5" with a 67-inch arm. But as you can see here, he's working on his versatility.
Terence Crawford reportedly paid a visit to Gervonta Davis ahead of his upcoming bout with Jake Paul, offering valuable training insights and strategic advice. The two champions were said to exchange techniques and discuss fight strategies, reflecting a strong sense of mutual respect. Crawford praised Davis's exceptional talent, discipline, and dedication, expressing his full support. He even remarked that if Davis ever wished to face in the ring, he'd gladly consider it, not out of rivalry, but as a tribute to the sport they both love.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if you want to dare to be great, you can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes, daring to be great.
You will fight him.
And tell him to come up there.
You gotta come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him to come and touch it.
Wow. Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
147. I'll make 147.
Ooh, see, oh man.
You gonna have a pre-camp.
And then what the people gonna say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
I don't know.
Gervonta tanked. Davis appears to be taking inspiration from Terence Crawford's playbook, one of boxing's most technically refined fighters. Crawford's preparation for Canelo Alvarez drew attention for his fluid stance switches, precise balance, and unpredictable rhythm. Now, Tank seems to be adopting a similar approach. Recent training footage shows him experimenting with advanced footwork, shifting angles, and even switching stances mid-combination, something rarely seen from him before. Observers suggest Davis isn't just studying Crawford, but also drawing from Jaron Boots Ennis, known for his ambidextrous fighting style. This evolution hints at Tank's strategic plan to shock the world in his upcoming clash with Jake Paul.
Right. This is scary. Gervonta Tank Davis is working on his versatility. We already know he has that ultimate equalizer, that special God-gifted one-punch knockout power. But he also can box. Gervonta Tank Davis, he's very durable, has a chin, never seen him visibly hurt. Gervonta Tank Davis also has great footwork and foot placement. And here you see Gervonta Tank Davis' only shortcoming, pun intended, is his height. He's 5'5" with a 67-inch arm. But as you can see here, he's working on his versatility. He's now working on fighting orthodox. He's naturally a southpaw. Now he's working on fighting orthodox. Great switch hitters, no Diddy in the sport.
Showbiz the Adult, a well-known boxing commentator, emphasized that the upcoming fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Jake Paul must deliver genuine excitement. He noted that many fans fear it could turn into a light sparring match, with both men holding back to avoid embarrassment. However, he warned that if the fight lacks intensity, it could ruin both fighters' reputations and careers. With Tank and Jake commanding massive audiences who expect fireworks, Showbiz stressed that this bout cannot be safe or cautious. It needs real action, or the hype and credibility surrounding it will disappear instantly.
Ending. It could be career ending. Jake Paul can end his whole shit. That's the fact. Tank can end Jake Paul's whole shit. And if that fight is meh, and it's just a sparring session that's tit for tat, their shit's over. Because people gonna be pissed that it's exactly what they expected it to be. They can't do that. If they do, their career's ruined. Jake Paul's career's ruined, and Tank. If they make it meh and just touch, both their brands suck. That's the black two sugars. You mess around in that bell ring, and you see little Tank, and you see big Jake, and he's throwing a jab, and little Tank making a miss. Bam! And y'all gonna be like, whoa! Say I'm lying. Y'all know what? Yes, say I'm lying. Please say I'm lying. But y'all gonna be right there, cheering. Because you ain't never seen nothing that damn bizarre. Even De La Hoya versus Shaq had headgear, and Shaq ain't a boxer. That right there, fireworks. Because you're going to be holding your breath, especially Tank fans. I'm going to be like, don't hit Tank. You're going to see Tank little ass legs. You're going to, and big ass Jake, big legs, and big ass head. Watch. Y'all talk all that shit now because y'all love talking shit. Y'all love hating on things until you see it. Like women back in the 90s. I remember my sisters back in the 90s. You ain't that cute. You ain't, but all on your shit. That's what y'all do. Y'all talk shit, but y'all the first ones there.
Keith Thurman highlighted an undeniable truth about Gervonta, Tank Davis, and his critics. He pointed out that the same people who constantly bash Tank are also the ones who never miss his fights. They claim his performances fall short, yet they tune in every time he steps into the ring. Thurman believes this contradiction proves that even negative attention fuels Tank's fame. Every criticism, he said, only amplifies Davis's spotlight, keeping his name relevant and his popularity thriving within the boxing world.
Really not happy with Tank, first off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune into the Tank and Paul's show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. You know, fine.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, you know. So, it's money-making purposes only, you know. It is what it is.
When Claressa Shields suggested that the only logical fight for Gervonta, Tank Davis, was against Shakur Stevenson, Tank didn't take it lightly. He fired back, saying no one has a right to dictate his career choices. His message was firm. Fans should enjoy the fights, not act like managers. This response comes from a deeper frustration. After his controversial draw with Lamont Roach, many fans turn on him, labeling him overrated. The backlash clearly struck a nerve, pushing Tank to adopt a defiant mindset. Now, he's focused on fighting for himself, on his own terms, without seeking anyone's approval or validation.
And it says that, pretty much the only people that can beat him is Shakur Stevenson, and I don't know who else he said. He said she thought that at a point in time that Devin Haney could beat him, but now she doesn't believe that. But so really the only fight that there is for Gervonta Davis is Shakur. What a mighty, mighty convenient argument. And Gervonta Davis responded, and basically his response was, "Come on, girl, stop talking about me so much because you're making me feel like I'm special." Right? So he pretty much just, kind of blows it off. But I really think that there's something much deeper going on here, and it is that this, and I said it again, I said it in another video, I'll say it in this one, the Bud Buddies. The Bud Buddies are a crew of boxers that all hang around and worship Terence Bud Crawford. And the main two members of it, besides the people that are actually in Terence Crawford's camp, as fighters are Shakur Stevenson and Claressa Shields, without a doubt. Claressa Shields is a huge backer of Terence and a huge backer of Shakur Stevenson. At the end of the day, the only thing she really cares about is what's in the best interest of Shakur Stevenson. And anything and everything she says is angled that way to get Gervonta Davis to do something that Shakur Stevenson wants him to do, which is really do all the hard work and then be there for Shakur Stevenson to become a star at the end of it. I'm telling you, man, I believe that to the bottom of my soul, that is the same plan that Terence Crawford ran on Errol Spence Jr.
The matchup between Gervonta, Tank Davis, and Jake Paul breaks from traditional boxing norms. Analysts argue that this fight isn't real competition, but rather an event caught between sport and spectacle. Typically, exhibition bouts make sense when fighters are past their prime, like Mayweather's recent ventures. However, both Tank and Jake remain active, ambitious, and in their athletic primes, making this clash even more unconventional. It challenges what fans expect from boxing, blurring the boundaries between athletic legitimacy and viral entertainment. While it promises massive attention and profit, it also raises questions about how far boxing will bend to chase mainstream hype.
It's like this, with fighters pretty much in their prime. But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight? And those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser. Because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather, but the difference is with his mentor Floyd, he really did fight a lot of champs in their prime. As Tank, well, not really. The most notable fight he's recently had that the people actually wanted was the Ryan Garcia fight, and the only reason he took that fight was because everything was on his terms. And other than the Ryan fight over the last couple of years, it's either been people who aren't in his weight division, which he's pulling up, or fighters ranked in the lower half of the top 10 lightweight list. The fights people have truly wanted to see just have never materialized, and simply that's why people criticize him. If the likes of Crawford never fought Spence or Usyk never fought Fury or Joshua, they would have caught the same level of flack. The reason why fighters like them are applauded is because generally they take on whatever challenge is in front of them. Tank instead, his whole career has bobbed and weaved around the most significant challenges that the people actually want to see, unless he has everything his way.
Another major concern surrounding this fight is the extreme weight gap. Jake Paul naturally sits around cruiserweight, while Gervonta, Tank, Davis competes between lightweight and super lightweight, a difference of roughly 60 to 70 pounds. Boxing's entire structure was designed to prevent exactly this kind of mismatch. Weight classes exist to ensure fairness and protect fighters from excessive power disparities. Ignoring that principle undermines the sport's foundation. If bouts like this become common, it raises a serious question. What's the point of weight divisions at all? Even as an exhibition, the imbalance can make this matchup dangerous or outright unfair.
Assuming there's no rehydration clause, which I don't believe there is, he'll probably weigh around 215 pounds in the ring. That means there's a sort of a 60 to 70 pound difference between the two men in the ring on fight night, which is absolutely enormous. There are weight classes for a reason in boxing, and this is the sort of thing that is typically not allowed or permitted. And like I said in my intro, it goes to the heart of that key question in boxing, which is how big is too big? It's the reason that the pound for pound list exists, where we kind of imagine if everybody was the same size, who's the best, who's number one? It's a debate that rages on and on and on. And so when I see a fight like this, I think the hardcore boxing fans, generally speaking, have felt frustrated by it. Yes, because we want Gervonta Davis as part of the actual sport, competing for world titles against the other elite guys in his weight class. But also because if he gets knocked out and loses to Jake Paul, it creates this illusion that Jake Paul's much better than he actually is. And so I guess the question for me is, can Gervonta Davis beat Jake Paul, or will Jake Paul simply be too massive? Can Jake Paul use his size, or will Gervonta Davis simply be too skilled? What's the answer here? And in trying to answer this, I looked at history, and there's one fight that immediately popped out in my mind, and I thought, I wonder what the size difference was there. In fact, it may even be more significant. And it was, and the small guy won. Some of you might be thinking about it right now. It's when David Haye took on the monster, the absolutely ginormous human being, Nikolai Valuev. I think it took place around 2009. So at the time, I was literally a teenager. I didn't have a clue what I was looking at, and I'd fully bought into this David versus Goliath story. But I think it's an excellent example here to draw comparisons between the Gervonta Davis-Jake Paul fight to try and understand whether or not this is a good template and blueprint to try and predict and understand what the size difference might look like in the ring. Now, David Haye was 6'3" and was 217 pounds for the Valuev fight, whereas Valuev was 7 foot tall and weighed 316 pounds.
The outcome of Jake Paul versus Gervonta tanked. Davis goes far beyond strength or skill. It symbolizes a direction boxing might take in the future. If Jake wins, it could spark a wave of influencer versus professional matchups. shifting focus from world titles to viral spectacles driven by social media. The danger is clear. Fans may begin to see traditional boxing as dull, choosing drama and personality over discipline and legacy. But if Tank dominates, it could restore faith in pure boxing craft, reminding everyone that skill, time, and experience still define greatness. Despite widespread criticism, curiosity remains sky high. Many casual viewers find modern boxing too predictable, while Jake Paul's chaotic, unpredictable energy keeps audiences guessing. He brings an element of danger and spectacle that today's digital generation craves. Pairing that with Tank's explosive power and precision creates a volatile mix, part sport, part show. Even those who drifted away from boxing are likely to tune in, not necessarily to witness greatness, but to experience the madness. As strange as it sounds, this matchup reflects modern fandom perfectly. A hunger for the unexpected, where controversy and chaos often matter more than the final score.
Purists hate it, the algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. Will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy, thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sent me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is, let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided by the details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager. Jake's long jab is the gate, but Tank's head movement is the key. Once he times it, the door's getting open and the furniture is going to get rearranged. Think locksmith versus padlock. Big padlock looks scary until the right tool clicks once. Jake throws that overhand like he's bowling with his shoulder. Effective, but you don't see.
Promoter Eddie Hearn offered one of the sharpest insights on the Tank Davis versus Jake Paul fight, stating, "Boxing and entertainment are two completely different things. When you mix them, the sport loses its identity." He argued that this matchup isn't about competition but business, built for views, attention, and profit rather than titles or legacy. Hearn warned that once fans accept these kinds of events, boxing's credibility could be at risk. His words carry weight, as he's witnessed firsthand how quickly entertainment-driven bouts can overshadow genuine championship fights and the sport's true essence.
Said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, you know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round, I don't know what it is, but you know, I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business.
Former world champion Shawn Porter offered a more personal take on Jake Paul's rise in boxing. He believes most fighters accept Jake's challenges for the massive paydays, not for respect. The money is tempting, but genuine admiration in the boxing world is something Jake hasn't truly earned. Porter explained that while fans and fighters acknowledge Jake's business savvy, they don't yet value him as a legitimate boxer. His respect remains surface level, built on marketing, not mastery. Real recognition, Porter emphasized, comes from facing and defeating elite opponents, something money alone can't buy. This fight perfectly illustrates how boxing is evolving into a business-first sport. For Jake Paul, it's another opportunity to prove he belongs among real fighters. For Gervonta Tank Davis, is a chance to test how far his brand can expand beyond traditional boxing circles. Both men are powerful marketers in their own right, but where Jake thrives on spectacle, Tank's reputation is grounded in pure skill.
I like when it's all said and done, and when you guys go off, they go into the next man. So if y'all can make a big payday, go get that payday. The sport of boxing don't love you, and that's the problem with this sport. It's like what Jake Paul did, man. It's crazy, but people getting paid off of it. So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby. I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not. I got no. I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost, unlike other sports. For an example, with football, we come from the hitting days.
Yeah.
We can't hit nowadays. You know what I mean? So boxing hasn't lost its essence. You know, they're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel in boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking like I don't know the official. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh damn.
They're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned next time